All right, bros and babes, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you my Grindcore collection. I like Grindcore, I listen to it, I'm a casual fan of it. I don't collect it voraciously, but I'm going to show you the discs that I've ended up keeping in my Grindcore collection. It's somewhat in alphabetical order, it's going to be kind of a casual thing. Assassino from California. Some really nice tight Grindcore. I like their albums, Corredors de Muerte. I believe this album is entirely in Spanish. Spanish Grindcore, Assassino from California band as well. Some members from Mexico is Brujeria, which means witch, and then Montando Güeros, and then their kind of EPs, Demonico and Machetazos is some considered Grindcore in my book anyway. Brutal Truth is a band from the East Coast. I know Danny Lilliker was in this band, and it was kind of a project, that was around for a while. This album, Extreme Conditions Demand Extreme Responses. A lot of people know this one. It's a popular Grindcore album. I think Brutal Truth is good. Two vocalists, and they kind of go back and forth. That two vocalist idea was also kept by the band Carcass. This band was incredibly influential for almost all of Scandinavia and European bands. As Carcass was starting and touring around, after they played any city, that city had popped up Grindcore and elements of Carcass sound. Extremely influential band, and I would consider this Grindcore. Their Peel Sessions, I've got this disc here, it's got some demos on it. Here's a bootleg demo, and then there's Symphonies of Sickness. It kind of goes into death metal territory, but I would still consider Carcass as top Grindcore if we want to talk about some Grindcore. This is one of my homemade CDRs from the band called Doomed from California, and especially notable on here is Chris Reifert played drums, guitars, and the bass. Chris Reifert in the band called Doomed. Excellent Grindcore right here is Excruciating Terror. I've got two CDR rips. One is the Legacy of Hate EP from '91, and then one of the best Grindcore albums that I've ever heard, especially live. I would say this is the best live Grindcore I've ever heard in my life, is Live at Gilman from Excruciating Terror. That's an excellent Grindcore. I think both of these were released on vinyl only. That's why I don't have a vinyl or a CD record. I do have a CDR rip of Live at Gilman, but it's probably totally underrated even amongst Grindcore aficionados. Excruciating Terror, Live at Gilman. It's an excellent album. I just freaking love that one. Like the t-shirt that I've got on, Napalm Death. I've got their Peel Sessions, of course, Scum, Mass Appeal Madness EP, and then I've got some other Napalm Death that we're going to get to as well. So along with Carcass, Napalm Death, that whole English, I would still consider that part of Grindcore. Terrorizer, Jesse Pintado played in Terrorizer, and then he left and joined Napalm Death. This is their Demo 87, one of my CDR rips of the Terrorizer Demo 87. I've got some more Terrorizer in this column as well. From Florida, Assück. This is definitely some of the best Grindcore albums of all time. Their Misery Index album, and then Anti-Capital, the Blind Spot EP. I think this is a collaboration or compilation of some of their earlier stuff. Their full-length album is called Misery Index. There's a band that called themselves Misery Index after that album. Assück, what do you say about Grindcore? Churning, drums, lots of changes going on, frenetic sort of riffing. This is Assück is definitely some of the best Grindcore album of all time. This band, Cerebral Turbulency, I believe is from Czechia, and their album is called Forces Closing Down. I was expecting death metal, I think, when I ordered this album, but after hearing it, I thought, oh, this is great Grindcore. I'm just going to throw this in my Grindcore section. So this is Cerebral Turbulency, Forces Closing Down, Czechia Grindcore. By the way, Czechia had a pretty strong Grindcore scene, and those of you that are really into Grindcore probably know more Czechia bands. Defecation, Purity Delusion. This is the American edition. The European edition has a different album cover. But this was, the pair was Mick Harris, drummer from Napalm Death, and Mitch Harris, guitarist from Napalm Death. I think it was just the two members. I'm not an expert on Grindcore, but Purity Delusion's a good album. I listened to this recently. It's okay. More Excruciating Terror again. This is a great Grindcore band. And what I like about Excruciating Terror is they were 100% Grindcore. They started and finished, I'm not sure if they're still together, but they're Grindcore definitely. Divided We Fall album I've got a CD from a band called Extreme Napalm Terror, and their album Y. This one, I think I paid 40 or 50 bucks on Discogs. It's probably kind of rare, but it's a pretty decent grindcore. They're very much mimicking what Carcass and Napalm Death was doing. Next up, I've got some Extreme Noise Terror. This is probably pretty well known in grindcore circles. The Peel Sessions from 87 to 90. Again, John Peel in England hosted radio, promoted bands, brought him into his studio, recorded several bands, and lots of Peel Sessions were some of the earliest English scene. There's like Unseen Terror, Carcass, Napalm Death, Carcass. Lots of bands did Peel Sessions. This is the Extreme Noise Terror Peel Sessions. John Peel, rest in peace. More Napalm Death. My Enslavement to Obliteration album. This is their second album. Probably my favorite, of early Napalm Death is their second album. This is the First Press American edition. Looks like this. And then their Peel Sessions. I believe I have their Peel Sessions probably 3 times over. Slimline case, jewel case like this. More Peel Sessions. Next up, Nausea from Sweden. Nausea is pretty well known in grindcore circles. I didn't care for the band too much. I know Inhale, Exhale, it was like the first song that I heard was a popular song. But I think I enjoyed this Slimline EP out of most of their stuff. Industrious Slaven, which means the slave of the industry in Swedish. Here is a classic US grindcore album that should be in all grindcore collectors' collection. This is Crimes Against Humanity album. This is Wild Regs Records, Nausea. I would say my second or third favorite grindcore of all time is Nuclear Death. I think she was from Arizona, if I'm not mistaken, and it's female vocal, and completely wild stuff, this Nuclear Death. Their entire discography is excellent. For Our Dead, All Creatures Great and Eaten, The Bride of Insect, right here, one of the most horrible album covers. I've got this on the original cassette as well, but I love all of Nuclear Death's discography. All of their demos, Means of Existence, and their excellent Return to Desolation, 2 times over. This is the original edition with the slimline, and then this jewel case edition has bonus tracks from early release. Phobia is pretty much the quintessential grindcore sound. I would think if somebody says, what is grindcore? I would say, well, Carcass and Napalm Death is related, but Phobia is 100% true grindcore, amazing grindcore. Nuclear Death, Assück, Phobia, top grindcore. Here is a grindcore gem. Maybe people have not heard of this one yet. Provocation, Blind Patriot. This one was difficult to find, difficult to get, but as soon as I got it and I put it in my stereo, I discovered that it is one of the best grindcore albums ever. Totally underknown. Provocation, Blind Patriot is just an excellent grindcore release. Classic grindcore, Repulsion, Horrified. I've got this a couple times over, including cassette. It is an absolute classic band from Michigan, which is my part of the world. This one's on Necrosis Records, Repulsion, Horrified. This band influenced countless other grindcore bands. You might even say that Terrorizer and Repulsion kind of started grindcore along with those English guys. I've got an album from Rotten Sound, and they're from Scandinavia somewhere. I've got their Murder Works album. I just tried it out, thought it was pretty good, and I thought, oh, well, Rotten Sound, I'm keeping that one. Sanity's Dawn. This is a gem of grindcore from Czechia. This is called the EP Years plus Live Audio Terror. Sanity's Dawn. This release is kind of a rare gem. Their full-length album is total death metal, but this one, this kind of special gem, is definitely grindcore. And for your collection, definitely add this to your collection. Sanity's Dawn, the EP Years plus Live Audio Terror. One of the most notable grindcore albums of all time, of course, is Terrorizer, World Downfall. This was released, I think, with 4 different colored covers. I've got this particular one, and the reason why everybody knows Terrorizer is because it included guys like Jesse Pintato on guitar, but then also, look at these characters right through here. David Vincent, guitar and vocals. Oscar Garcia on vocals, who also played Nausea, I think. And then, who's on drums? Pete Sandoval on drums. So what happened was Terrorizer the story was they broke up and they forced themselves to go back together to record this album, and then kind of split up and formed, you know, Nausea, Napalm Death, Morbid Angel, and such notable bands. A lot of people know this Terrorizer album. It's amazing. Underrated, underknown is Third Degree Outstay. You know, I haven't heard of this one until a couple years ago. I stumbled upon it on YouTube, I think, one night and bought the album. It's good. And then here is an underknown grindcore band. Kind of a ridiculous band name, Toxic Bonkers. Seeds of Cruelty and Their Blindness, full length. This is some good grindcore that I discovered, Toxic Bonkers. Not sure where they're from. Check them out though, it's definitely worth it. I've got just a few CDs left. This Toxic Bonkers, If the Dead Could Talk. Unseen Terror, The Peel Sessions. That's a CD release of Unseen Terror. And then the last of my stuff here is a Phobia release called What Went Wrong Demo. Discharge, Hear Nothing, See Nothing, Say Nothing. This should be in everyone's collection. Not necessarily grindcore, but a fast-paced punk grind English band that influenced even some of our favorite death metal. I know Anthrax even did covers of Discharge. And then just some compilations that are notable for people who are into grindcore. The Grind Crusher compilations, which has Repulsion, Carcass, Godflesh, Terrorizer, Bolt Thrower, Intense Degree, Filthy Christians. We've got Hardcore Holocaust, 1987 to 88 sessions. Includes Extreme Noise Terror, Electro Hippies, Unseen Terror, Napalm Death, Doom, Intense Degree. But these are some, I guess, you know, some rare stuff. Peel sessions for Hardcore Holocaust 1 and then Hardcore Holocaust 2. See if you can find those CDs. Earache Unplugged has some grindcore on it. There's Brutal Truth, some Carcass, it's got Napalm Death, Cathedral. And then finally, my grindcore collection sums up with Grind Madness at the BBC. It's a 2-disc set from Peel sessions. So yeah, that box set, nice grindcore right there. So thanks for watching. See you later.